Hello, this is LuckCapsule. Today I'm borrowing the model I made for ktchuuu, one of my clients, to show everyone how to set up your Live 2D model in VTubeStudio. If you've just received your model from me or from someone else, you should adjust the settings so that it is giving you the best possible movement to your tracking, to your face. And even if you have had it for a while, it is worth checking out the settings if you haven't done so before, just so you can get it looking the way it's supposed to. Onto the main settings. This is probably the stuff that you want to be touching up so that your model is tracking properly for your face. So, what does it all mean? There's more than 4 numbers, but there are 4 numbers you can change here. Now, I do not think you should touch the right side numbers. These numbers are what is programmed into the model. And the only time you should touch this is if something got messed up and the max that it shows doesn't like match this. I mean, you could, if you know what you're doing, go ahead and mess with it, but like if you're just getting started, I don't really recommend it. Right? So this is the range that is set by the rig, is the way to put it. If you have ever like gone in and if you've hit this auto setup button, sometimes it will change these numbers and then it might need to be fixed. But if you have received your model from your rigger, these should probably be correct and you won't need to fix it. These numbers here on the left is the range for your input. So the number on the leftmost here is the current reading. It is the tracking's current reading of the parameter in question. So right now we're looking at eye open left, and as you can see when I blink, this number goes down because it sees the eye open left, it becomes low, and if you open wide, it goes up. If you find that it doesn't track your blinking properly, it could be because you need to mess with this setting. So if you open your eye all the way and you're not hitting 1, let's say I opened my eye all the way and it was only hitting like 0.8. If that was the case, I would want to lower my upper range to be 0.8. because that's as high as I can get with my tracking, so that is the max I would want it to be. And on the other hand, if you blink and you find it's not actually hitting 0, it's only hitting like 0.2 or something, you could raise this number to be 0.2. So by creating a range that is closer to what it is actually tracking, you're gonna get much better results. We've scrolled down to face angle X, face angle Y, and face angle Z. What these 3 terms mean are the different ways that your face rotates. Angle X means side to side. Angle Y means up and down. And Z is like moving your ear to your shoulder. And it will be the same for your body. It's not actually tracking your body, although it says body angle Y. If you see the input, it's still tracking your face. It's face tracking, so it doesn't know what way your body's moving. It's all dependent on your face. Although on this model, I have the directions of the X reversed, and yours may be similar, and your X might be reversed as well, but you can tell what it's tracking by looking at the input. So let's adjust these so that it's better suited to the tracking. I think it would be really a good example to look at Y first. So remember, Y is up and down. So let's try looking up and down and checking the number to see what it's reading from our face. Up, it looks like we can get to 30 if I really look up. And down, if I really look down, I'm getting to like 0.23. For me, I would raise this quite a lot. I'd probably put this to -20 instead of -30. And there. Much easier to move. And actually, personally, I like to lower both, just because it's not often that I'm going to be looking up that high. And if you're streaming, sitting there playing a game, you're probably not going to be looking that high either. And so it's nice to have a smaller range, just so you can get a wider range of expression. But if you are someone who moves around a lot, maybe you won't need to lower it that much. It's up to you. Right now I'm checking the X angle. My camera is not directly in front of my face, so you can see it's not even on either side, but it gets pretty close to 30. For my taste, I will change these to 25 as well. So you can do the same thing for basically every parameter on here to get your desired results. Another thing. This first box is where your idle animations will sit. Your model might not have an idle animation, but if it does, make sure that it is set here in the idle animation. Idle animation tracking lost is if you have a special animation for when your tracking is lost. Like if you cover the camera, your model falls asleep, something like that. If you have that, then that animation should be set as well. There's a few more buttons here. I don't use the movement config, but you can if you want. If you turn it on, it will track how close you are to your screen. It's a little much for me, so I usually turn it off, but it's totally up to you if you want to use the movement config. Next up is the physics box. I don't usually mess with this, but if you want your physics to just be really strong, go ahead and pump it up. The wind strength just means there will be like an imaginary wind blowing to create physics. See, look, now we're wiggling a bit. And dragging physics just means it will have physics from dragging the model around. Next, we're taking a quick look at the other tabs. Starting with this one here at the end, hotkey settings and expressions, exactly what it says. This is where you can set the hotkeys for your expressions. Your rigger has probably already put your expressions into here, but you probably want to set the hotkeys yourself, because personally when I set up the model for the clients, I just make the hotkey something very simple so that I can keep checking them easily. And I'll just set them to like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but you probably don't want them on that, so change it to whatever you like. You can also use buttons if you want to click on your screen like a physical click. I don't use it, but you definitely could if you want. You can also edit expressions here. You could even create a new expression. This is pretty handy if you wanted to like make like a very simple expression for yourself. For example, if you wanted to do like a simple angry, you could like find the brow angle and make them angry or something like that and make a simple expression if you wanted to. It's an option that's there. Next, let's look at the webcam tracking and video and visual settings tab. The first box is just going to be your webcam settings. You probably don't need to mess with that too much once you have it set up. But here at this next box is something that you might like to mess with. So, a few things. Model when tracking loss. Stay at pose and go back to default. What does that mean? Well, when tracking is lost just means maybe you stepped away from your webcam, or maybe your webcam got covered, or otherwise your tracking is lost. So what behavior do you want the model to have when the tracking is lost? If it is on go back to default, let's see what happens. And there she is, front facing, looking forward. And if you stay at pose, it will There, she's just stuck there at the moment where tracking is lost. It's mostly up to your preference, but if you have an idle animation, I believe you don't want to change this setting. The next setting that might be helpful to you is link eye blinking. Linking eye blinking means if you have it on, you won't be able to wink. It will link the two eye blinks together. So if you have trouble with your tracking where you find that your model is like squinting one eye a lot when you're not really doing that, you might want to turn it on. Or you could do it when face is rotated only, since that is a point when you're more likely to have messed up tracking. But if you're using iPhone, you probably don't need to put this on. I personally don't have it on, but you can, and the option's there. Okay, next we have a few settings here, and again, this is going to be for if you're having some trouble with your mouth opening, your eyes opening. You can make it more sensitive or less sensitive, and it might help you to get a little bit more accurate tracking. The last part we would like to check out to get accurate tracking would be this microphone setting here. If you turn this on, it will attempt to lip sync with the model a little bit. So as you can see, it's listening to what I'm saying and attempting to lip sync me. So you can turn that on if you would like it to feel a little more accurate. There is a lot more settings in VTubeStudio, but I think that those are the main ones for getting started. There's a lot of fun things you can do. They have special effects now. Ooh. There's a lot of things to play with. You can even overlay your game onto it for special lighting. But yeah, I would say just have fun with it. If you have any questions, you should reach out to your rigger, and if your rigger is me, you can message me anytime. I'm always happy to answer questions. Hopefully this was helpful for you, and thank you for watching!